Okay, Ian, based on previous weeks, it's definitely not what the squad's about. What went wrong in your perspective?
Obviously very disappointing day, Zach. I think what went wrong was we didn't start the game properly. We paid them far too much respect. They got into their stride far quicker than we did. We didn't get close enough to them, and I think physically they've out-battled us in the first half. And you know, there's an old-fashioned saying in football where you've got to earn the right to play, and they would probably argue that they earned the right to play, and we didn't. And you know, you find yourself 3-0 down. A couple of goals were certainly our fault, and you know, the game is almost irretrievable, if you like. So yeah, disappointing afternoon. Obviously, a couple of words were said at half-time, and we tried to change it up by making 3 substitutions and changing the shape, which clearly worked because you know we didn't let a goal in the second half, and I actually thought we had probably more possession than them in the second half, and we had quite a few entries into the final third, but without really cutting them open. Callum Coyles had one chance that he just missed, you know, didn't quite get on the end of, if you like, which would have reduced it to 3-1, and you know you're looking at it then, and it's. Well, the scoreline obviously looks better if you've scored a goal, but obviously the game was done by half-time because the first half performance was just not good enough.
And was it just that final ball maybe that was frustrating in the second half, or?
Yeah, I mean the second half, like I said, we played better, and you know, when you really analyse it, there would probably be a couple of final passes, or you know, a couple of crosses hit the first man. So you're probably looking for better quality. You know, when you do get into the final third. The pleasing thing was that you know in the second half we actually got in the final third, and we actually sort of probably spent a lot of the second half in there after the pitch, if you like. You know, which was pleasing. But you know, I'm scratching around looking for positives because you know. Going back to the same point, the first half performance, you know, really let us down, and that's not what I expect from my players, because I'm not about that. That's not how I approach the game, and you know, to be as half-hearted, I think, wouldn't be unfair to say. To be as half-hearted as we were in the first half was very disappointing, because I don't expect that from my players and my teams.
And how did you think the new lads got on today?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you bring 4 or 5 players into a team. At the same time, then it could go really well, or it could go not so well. I don't think the fact that we brought new players into the team made any difference at all to the result. To be honest, I said young Tyrese Kennedy-Williams that played at left back for us from Notts County played very well. It was his first competitive game at this level, and I thought he came through it well. And Josh Martin, second half particularly, made some really good blocks and tackles in the second half, and he organised the back four much better in the second half than we perhaps did in the first half. So Josh came through it, and you know, with some positives as well. But clearly we've got some things to work on in terms of maybe gelling the new players into the group. Yeah.
And now it's just on to the next one. Get your heads down, and just what we're going for the players' heads now. Will it just be because they've got a good mentality, this lot?
Yeah, they have. I think we're a very young team, and everybody seems to know that now. And obviously, what's going to happen is now everybody's going to approach playing Redditch United thinking, well, you know, we're going to have to outfight them, we're going to have to out-muscle them, and we're going to have to be physical with them because you know they're a good footballing side and they've got good technicians in the team. So clearly, you know, the opposite to that from our perspective is we've got to be stronger, we've got to be tougher, we've got to, you know, have a little bit more fight in us than we did in the first half, and I think these lads are learning very quickly that you have no divine right to win a game just because you've got good football players in your team with you know, good ability and good passing ranges and all the rest of it. Unless you compete and unless you do the physical side of it that we didn't do well enough in the first half, then you won't be successful. You know, and that's the message that I've probably discussed with the lads after the game. And to answer your question, going into Tuesday's game, we have to be more mentally tough, we have to be more physically tough, we have to be more resilient, we have to be more vocal on the pitch. There's quite a lot of things that we've got to get better at. But pleasingly, like I said, in the second half, if we can get into our stride like we did a little bit more in the second half, then we might give ourselves a chance. But yeah, we've got some work to do between now and then.